Alright, for so 117, it says a degree is a larger unit than a radian, and that is false. Here's a degree, and here's a radian approximately. So this one is much larger. So the number 117 is false. Alright, so for 118, it says that negative 1260 degrees is in quadrant 3. Well, it's a negative angle, so you're going to go clockwise. So this is 180, 360, 720 right here, and then 1080 right here. And to get to 1280 or 2060, you end up right here, right on the axis. So because the angle lands right here on the axis, it's not inside quadrant 3. Okay? To be considered in quadrant 3, it has to be inside it. So this one would also be false. So this one is saying that the angles of a triangle can have these radian measures. So remember, a triangle has the sum of the three angles adds up to 180 degrees. So that means that in radians, that would be pi, right? We want to see if the sum of these three angles equals pi. So common denominator is 12. So that means that the first one you multiply by 4 over 4. The second one you multiply by 3 over 3. So that gives you 8/12. And then 3 pi over 12. And then pi over 12. So then 8, 3, and 4, that's 12. 12 pi over 12. Whoops, 12. So that's pi. So this one's true. Okay, for 124, you have, they're asking you which angles are coterminal with angle A. And so remember, coterminal means that they start and end in the same place. So D is out of the question because it ends right here. Now the other two angles that end with A are C and B. Okay, so the two coterminal angles would be angle B and C. Alright, so for number 10, we know that this point, 12/13, 5/13 is on a unit circle, because when we do x squared plus y squared or equals r squared, we get that this is 1 right here. So watch. 12/13 squared plus 5/13 squared is 144 over 169 plus 25 over 169, and so that gives you 169 over 169, which is 1. So that means the radius is 1. So you know that that point is on a unit circle. It's not a special angle, but that's okay, but it's on the unit circle. So they want you to find sine of theta, cosine of theta, tangent of theta, okay, and the other three. So remember, sine of theta on a unit circle is simply y. So it's 5/13. Cosine theta on a unit circle is x. So it's 12/13. Tangent of theta is y over x. So I'm going to take this number over this number. Remember, the 13s would cancel. So you would be left with 5/12. And then the other three, cosecant, secant, and cotangent. I always put the reciprocals next to each other because it's easier. You know, if you just put them across. And so I'm just going to take the 5/13 and flip it, take its reciprocal. So 13/12 and 12 over 5. And that's the answer for number 10. Alright, so right here, T represents the circumference of the circle. And remember, on the unit circle, the circumference of the circle is the angle. So the angle 7 pi over 6, they want you to give the coordinates for that point, for that angle. And T represents the circumference, which equals the angle in radians on a unit circle. So at 7 pi over 6, you know 7 pi over 6 is right here somewhere. So the coordinates right here are negative radical 3 over 2, negative 1/2. Alright, so negative 4 pi over 3, that means it's a clockwise angle, it's a negative angle, so this would be negative 3/3, negative pi. So 1/3 more would be about right here. So it's actually at the 2 pi over 3. This is like at the 2 pi over 3 on the unit circle. So the coordinates would be negative 1/2 radical 3 over 2. Because this is what 2 pi over 3 is. And 2 pi over 3 is the same coterminal angle as negative 4 pi over 3. Alright, for 25, the angle is negative 7 pi over 4. So again, this is negative 4/4, and we're going negative direction, so it's clockwise. And so to get to negative 7 pi over 4, you end up ending up right there. So it's like right here. So the corresponding angle or coterminal angle on the unit circle is pi over 4. So we're looking at the coordinates for pi over 4. So the sine of negative 7 pi over 4 is radical 2 over 2. The cosine of negative 7 pi over 4 is also radical 2 over 2. And then the tangent of negative 7 pi over 4, we take this number over this number, right, y over x, and we get 1. Alright, so t is the circumference on a unit circle. So 11 pi over 6 would be about here, right? This is 11 pi over 6. So the coordinates here are positive radical 3 over 2, negative 1/2. Okay, that's just from 11 pi over 6. And so now the sine, remember, is the y coordinate, so it's sine of 11 pi over 6 is negative 1/2. The cosine of 11 pi over 6 is radical 3 over 2. And the tangent is this number over this number. So that gives you negative 1 over radical 3 because the 2's cancel. You rationalize and you get negative radical 3 over 3. Alright, for 2 pi, so that would be one complete rotation. We land right here at 1, 0. Okay? So the sine of 2 pi, that's the y coordinate, is 0. The cosine of 2 pi is the x coordinate, that's 1. The tangent of 2 pi is 0 over 1, which is 0. Cosecant of 2 pi, well, that's a reciprocal of 0, so that's undefined. The secant of 2 pi, the reciprocal of 1 is 1. And cotangent of 2 pi, that's the reciprocal of 0 again, undefined. Alright, so cosine of 5 pi. So this is 1 pi, 2 pi, 3 pi, 4 pi, 5 pi. We land right here. The coordinates are negative 1, 0. And so the cosine of 5 pi, cosine, remember, is the x coordinate. So this would be equal to negative 1. Alright, so sine of negative 9 pi over 4. So that I changed it to a mixed number. So that's negative 2 and 1/4 pi. So when you sketch that, you get negative pi, negative 2 pi, and 1/4 pi would be right there. So the coordinates here corresponding to negative 9 pi over 4 would be radical 2 over 2, negative radical 2 over 2. And the sine is the y coordinate. So the answer to this is negative square root of 2 over 2. Alright, so for 53 to 68, I circled in like an orange color. Those are the degree ones. So I'm going to do those first. That way I'm not switching the calculator back and forth from degree to radian. So I'm doing those first. And it wants you to keep 4 decimal places. Okay, so tangent of 100, just punch it in, tangent 100, and you get, sorry, my calculator is not cooperating, 5.6713. Okay, because you have to round out the 2 up to 3 because the next number is an 8. And then cosine 135 is negative 0.7071. Okay. And then tangent of negative 229. So you just put the 229 as a negative number, negative 229, and then find the tangent of that, and you get negative 1.1504. And again, I had to move the 4 was the ending was 368, so I had to round this up to a 4. And the cosine of negative 96 degrees, that's negative 0.1045. Negative 0.1045. Okay, again, just straight and put in the calculator. Now 65, 66 are reciprocal functions, and there's no key for those, so you have to put in the reciprocal function and then take the use the reciprocal button. On this calculator that I have, the reciprocal button is 1 over x. I know some of you will have x to the negative 1, or some of you may just want to do 1 divided by, like 65 would be the tangent of 32. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the tangent of 32 and then use the reciprocal button. So the tangent of 32 is 0.6248. I'm going to take the reciprocal of that, and that gives me 1.6003. So 1.6003. Okay. Cosecant, the reciprocal of cosecant is sine. So same thing, use either the 1 over x key, x to the negative 1, or 1 divided by sine of 75. So I'm going to do, so the reciprocal of this is sine 75. So I'm going to do sine of 75, and then whatever that is, which is 0.9659, I'm going to take the reciprocal of that by hitting the reciprocal key, and that gives you 1.0353. So 1.0353. That's after you hit the reciprocal key. Okay? Now the rest of the functions are radians. Some have pi, some don't have pi. So like these I know are radians because they do not have a degree, they don't have a degree symbol. And none of these do, right? None of these. No degree symbols. So you just change the mode to radian and then input them in the calculator. Alright, so 53 through 56, I went ahead and I just put them in exactly as I saw them. Tangent of 3 times pi divided by 5, and so forth. And so these are the values that I got for those. Okay, so now I'm going to go down to 59 and do the next two. Okay, so for 59 and 60, the answers are right there. Same thing, just cosine of negative 1.7 and sine of negative 13.4. Now for the last four, 63, 64, 67, 68, those are all reciprocal functions. So for this one, I'm going to input cosine of 5 pi over 6 and then take its reciprocal. This one, tangent of 4 pi over 3 and then take its reciprocal. This one, sine of negative 5.2 and then take its reciprocal. And this one, cosine of negative 4.9 and then take its reciprocal. Okay? Alright, so here are the other four answers right here. So like I said, I put this in the calculator and then I hit the reciprocal key, either this one or this one. Now if you prefer, you could do 1 divided by cosine 5 pi over 6, 1 divided by tangent 4 pi over 3. So any of these three work. And then here are the last two.